Welcome guys. It's another Zoom session. Just a quick market breakdown. So we're gonna start looking at NAS100 just to see what today is going to offer us, if there are any setups available. So what we're gonna do is just do a quick analysis, maybe intraday analysis, try to determine the next draw on liquidity, and of course just to see what normally happens, and then we'll come again tomorrow we're gonna place a setup, or rather, what we're seeing, and then we're gonna then review it tomorrow and see if what we're analyzing or discussing does happen. So we're gonna start, obviously, let's start in the daily chart just to see, determine the trend. It's been an uptrend, market has been buying. So we already know that as we go into this market, we are potentially looking for buying opportunities. Because what has price been doing? Price has clearly been breaking structures towards the upside, and of course creating those higher lows. As we can see, it's creating those higher lows, and we have been breaking structures. We have break of structure there. We have a break of structure right there as well, and we have a break of structure around these areas as well as right there. Right. So with all that, we can really determine the trend. So what we can now obviously look into, we can obviously go down. So instead of, before we even go to the lower time frame, we can obviously mark the highs and the lows, just to determine the next draw on liquidity. Because as market moves, what the market does, the market looks for inefficiencies, or the market is looking for liquidity. That's the reason for the movement that we always see in these ups and downs. It's liquidity as well as inefficiencies. Make sure that the market is moving in an equilibrium. Okay, so we have the first high, then the recent low was that one, then we have the other low. So this low, this major low, this is where the rally started to create that major high. This is where the rally started, and right now we're in the midpoint there. Just going to use the Fibonacci tool and just to see where we truly are. So this is what I love about the Fibonacci. It's straightforward. We can see that the market, as soon as it broke structure here, we obviously came back down we could have retested there, but obviously we came back down to the equilibrium. And we can see it's right there in the 4-hour. Bodies are closing just above the 50%. And obviously candles and all the wicks closing just above that low. So this means that price has not changed structure, meaning we are still most probably moving towards the upside. So let's just remove the Fibonacci as we continue. As price has been moving up, we have already determined we're looking for entries. Let us see. So for me, you don't even need to complicate this. To be honest, your chart does not need to be complicated. Simplicity, as Capitec says it, is the ultimate sophistication, right? So, just looking at this, there's two ways. As we can see, we have that nice supply zone over there. And here it went from being a supply zone, and in that supply zone, we have our order block that obviously broke the structure, and we went up and we created a new high. And right now, from that thing, we could be either coming to retest it. So there's two possibilities, because the market, it's either you buying or you are selling. So we could obviously come into that supply zone and continue down, breaking structures and looking to feed in these inefficiencies. Because here's one thing we also need to consider. And as much as this is intraday, I'm more of a swing trader. So what I normally look at is your daily bias and your weekly bias. I must know what's happening. So looking at the daily chart, of course, we in Wednesday now. Today's a Wednesday, right? Should I hope? Yeah, it's a Wednesday. So this is Wednesday's candle. We already been bullish today. We have Tuesday, we have Monday. So beginning of the week, we have been bearish. So if we go down to the weekly charts, see how the weekly has been bearish. So we never know as this. So we have 1, 2, 3. We have also this bearish weekly here, but it became almost like an order block, just like this one, a weekly order block, of course, whereby we had one candle and then it went up, broke structure. So we could anticipate a similar reaction for this week in this year. But of course, this week is NFP. So the market could be choppy, it could be looking for those orders before the relative or the real move that happens on the day. But of course, as we can see, as we have mentioned, the bias, weekly bias has been bearish. This week has been bearish so far, the development. In the daily, we are seeing that in the 2 previous days, today's a Wednesday, Tuesday and Monday have been bearish. And only today in the midweek are we having a bullish. It's still in the morning session, both New York, it's 4 a.m. in the New York, as we can see there. And then with my local time, it's still 11:09 in the morning. So it's still a morning session for me as well, local time. So market has not really, it has moved, but it hasn't really moved. We haven't created anything definitive. So we could be, as we're looking at the daily, as we are seeing a bullish candle, the trend has been bearish, but today we started with a bullish momentum. That bullish momentum could either going to be filling inefficiencies or grabbing whatever liquidity before continuing to the downside. That's just the narrative, but of course it's not definitive. We still have to trade what we see. We have to look at what the market is doing, and then we trade what the market is doing, right? So we'd like to just remove this. This was a nice little structure, but we're going to remove it because we don't need it as yet. Okay, let's just go down to the 1 hour. I think the 1 hour looks something I've just seen, which is very much nice. So just working with this range, we're just working with the extreme low and then the extreme high. Normally I'd have my charts divided into the daily, but we can quickly do that just so that we can see how I normally do it, and simplifying, as I say, simplifying, making to be able to understand the charts in a simple way. So we're going to start with putting down the Tuesday. And then here's the beginning of the week, Monday midnight. This was the open around there. So you see how once you start breaking this, we're looking for Wednesday midnight. There we go. Once you start breaking the week into these days, you are visually seeing what is happening, how price is moving. You can now determine the weekly opens, weekly highs, and weekly lows, previous weekly opens, weekly highs, and weekly lows, because those are all liquidity areas. Those are places the market might target because there could be orders in those areas. So we just need to determine all those levels to make it simpler for us. So we can already see, we can then put just the week before the beginning of that week. We need to make sure we find that Monday so that your chart is clean. It's always important to have a clean chart so that we can see instead of. So we're just going to put Mondays open. So from here up until there, this is last week's action. You can see that we started with a nice consolidation here, or rather an accumulation of orders. And then as soon as that happened, what happened? We rallied up. And what happened now when we on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we went all the way down. So this low was last week's low. This is last week's low. What we're going to do now is look for the openings, the weekly openings. Weekly openings are what's really important. Normally, what price does, but this is not for this video. This is just to keep it simple, not to explain a lot, and to obviously try and keep the video short and analysis short, of course. But as we can see, this week opened right there. So this could be a weekly open and a close. So we're going to just change the color and make it green. This is our weekly open, relatively close to the high. And then let's go back to our daily charts. Where are we? Okay, perfect. So that's where. So right now on the Wednesday, You know, the weekly low has already been made. In as much as we haven't attacked last week's low, or rather taken any liquidity there, there's still the buy side liquidity as well. So in what I am seeing right now, we can obviously just mark some inefficiencies. That's the next step. But okay, we've seen the weekly open. What we want to do is obviously see that this is our weekly open. So we need to just label it. The space is there. This is our weekly open. We press the price, which is 18,319.74. This is what we are working with. And price now is at $18,000. And the weekly open is at 18,300. So in the course of this week, you know, we could expect we need to retest that weekly open. If we don't, we could then continue towards these the previous week's low, right? Or the previous week's high. So we have the weekly low there, previous weekly low, and then we have the previous weekly high, which is up there, which on Monday, of course, it literally got taken out. Let's just mark it there just a bit so that we can see. That was last week's low. And then when market opened here, what happened? It got taken out. And then as soon as we took out the previous week's high, what happened? We rallied all the way down, taking all the liquidity, all this accumulation here, taking everything. And obviously could have come here, but what did we do? One thing we also need to notice as we are learning the charts, smart money concepts, you know, we can identify this order block. This is where price went back to. If we can clearly see. There's an order block there. Let's just mark the bodies. And that's where price, and as soon as we went back, as soon as we went back into it, what happens? We start rallying up, we reverse again. So this is where price was looking or was drawn to. And as soon as we take whatever we are looking for, as soon as we grab all our gold, what happens? We continue, we go to the next mission. So right now in this hour, I'm just going to mark a couple of inefficiencies that potentially price may be drawn to before we can obviously, you know, respect our weekly bias, which is a bearish move, right? So these are areas of, for me, areas of interest. Is price going to reverse around these areas, or is price going to shoot through and change this into an inversion fair value gap? So of course, gotta trade what the market is doing. We don't, even right now, you can't enter the market share because, as I had said, I saw something interesting here. So of course, as soon as we took the monies there, what happens? Let me just change this into this one. What do we have here? As we were breaking structures, you know, we're creating these lows. The low, they're breaking structure, they're breaking structures. What happens here? We have that nice market structure shift in this first right there. You can go, maybe it's going to be definitive in the 15 minutes because we are doing intraday. See how we were breaking structures. There, break of structure. There, break of structure. And also here, break of structure. And then what happens? We change direction right there. This is our market structure shift. And you see how the orders, you know, we had that accumulation here. We had that accumulation and we then decided, hey, we're going to go up. So this resistance turned into also what we can call a support in this areas here. So right now, of course, we are targeting to fill up that imbalance there. For me, we are looking to go up into the weekly open or this fair value gap here, and then we reverse and continue with the weekly bias. But nothing is definitive at this moment, so we just wait and we continue and analyze and we wait for the market to, you know, present itself. But so far, you know, I would sell there, but depending on how the market reacts here. If perhaps we have a wick that fills up that imbalance and all bodies perhaps close below those 50%, we could look for the sells. but because it's a Wednesday, we haven't really made a high. We've made our extreme low for this week. This is our new low. So this is also going to be another place of interest. This is going to be another place of interest because it's our weekly low. So we've got relative equal lows right here. So there's liquidity resting in these areas. But for now, we're looking for the buy side liquidity. Let's see what the market is going to react, how the market rather is going to react around this. This is a very key area. I'm very interested in this area. This is my point of interest. If price breaks through, let's just make it visual so we can all see. So if price from now, since we have this bullish run, if price breaks through here, perhaps maybe, since we also have that, we need to maybe, have a market structure shift there. Come on. So if price continues, breaks through there, comes retest into this area, bodies, candles all closing above this 50% range, then most definitely I'll be looking to go into that to test that weekly open, if not right these margins here. And then another scenario we could look at is obviously we hit there, and then like I've said, we continue all the way down looking for these lows. So price is really going to determine and tell us what is going to be happening. But right now, the narrative for me, point of interest is there, but I'm really, really looking to test that weekly open. And since it's NFP, I like looking at the 4-hour, because the 4-hour tells me much more details. And really the 4-hour, right now we, guys, to be honest, looking at the 4-hour, we haven't broken any structures, but we've been breaking structures towards the upside. As we can see, we broke structure. And as we came back down, normally we have to retest on these highs, but we didn't do that. And as much as we came back inside, we did not close below this low. Because if we had, then it could have been a market structure shift, and then we can continue towards our downside. But for now, like I said, since nothing is definitive, just going to wait for the markets. But for me, I am most definitely still bullish for the day. I'd say I am kind of bullish, or rather for the next 2 days, today and tomorrow. Friday is NFP. Probably won't trade it this week. Just need to see what's going to happen. So yeah, let's just see what happens, guys. We're gonna come back tomorrow. We're gonna leave this setup over here and let's see how it built up. Let's see if what we are seeing will transpire or not. Thank you. That's it, guys. Sharp, sharp.